I do think you should have an inhaler to help open your lungs up. I'm talking about one which is much more, it sits in the background helping your lungs in the longer period of time. I'm going to give you a drug, it's called a Spialto respiratory mass inhaler. It's got 2 drugs in it, both of which are long-acting muscle relaxants for your airways.
Right.
So they both help to open the airways up to make it easier for you to get the breath out.
So I wouldn't pay a price when it runs out, and I would be even worse afterwards, like I was on the other inhaler. That was the issue I had with the other inhaler.
No.
It was great for a short period of time, and then it was worse after.
You almost got a rebound effect afterwards. Okay. No, this is just one that you take 2 puffs of it in the morning.
Yeah.
And you continue with that each day.
So just in the morning?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
And side effects?
Very little. Some people might get a little bit. Some people don't like the taste.
No, I'm talking like headaches and all of this nonsense that I got going on.
None really.
None?
No, very well tolerated inhaler.
Like the sound of that.
Okay. So let's get you your new prescription here, and then we'll see you again in 4 weeks.
Okay. Thank you very much.
In the meantime, I'll be getting the next letter back from the ophthalmologists to see what they say. But like I say, the report from the second bunch of tests was much better than the first one.
Right.
Even though, like you say,
That
it's
was
taken
practice.
a long time.
That was just practice.
Yeah, just practice. I mean, everyone, it's like the breathing test. Everyone does better the second time round we do the breathing test rather than the first time round.
You once mentioned that at some point we would be doing a rescan of my lungs.
Indeed, we will.
Is there any reason to suppose that the damage from the aspergillosis will be continuing, or is it likely to have stopped where it is?
It's like the whole idea is to go into what we don't really know is how much permanent damage has been left from the infection. We can know how much damage there is on the lungs there, the evidence of infection there is.
Right.
We know how much damage there is to the lungs anyway from smoking-related damage over the years as well. What we're going to be doing, at the moment I don't think it's the right time, it's too early, we're only halfway through this.
Okay.
But when we get to the end of the treatment, I will be repeating your CT scan to have another look and see what your lungs are like at the end.
All right. Can I ask you this?
Yep.
Even though this is a little unusual, I'm sure you've got experience of it.
Mm-hmm.
What is the sort of long-term outlook for this? Is it going to be likely that I will have to continually bounce back on and off one of the azoles with repeated infections, and will this ultimately take me?
Very unlikely. I mean, the whole point of continuing this therapy for as long as we're continuing it is to minimise the chances of it coming back.
Really? Okay.
Like any pneumonia, you need to treat it completely to get rid of it.
Right. So I'm not going to be hypersensitive to aspergillosis because I walk the dog in the woods every day.
Unlikely.
Okay,
I think
good,
that's unlikely.
good. Okay.
This has just been one extra insult that your lungs have had to take on
top of all the smoking
been there for a long time.
Brick dust and okay.
And yeah, like I say, the whole idea is to try to clear your lungs of this infection, and so it doesn't come back again.
I'm sure I've said this before, but I'm going to bounce it off you one last time.
Of course.
I still wrestle with the idea that I somehow have suddenly become attacked by aspergillosis purely because of the smoking. A lot of people smoke. Is it in any way possible that I have had coronavirus and that was what precipitated these events?
The short answer is, well, no one's going to be able to tell really. I don't think this is not the kind of damage you find with coronavirus. Coronavirus tends to cause a very set pattern of disease, certainly when there's changes in imaging.
Yeah,
I'm not saying smoking has caused aspergillus. Let's not get that twisted up. The smoking damage has not caused.
No. It's made me susceptible.
You have aspergillus is a fungus that we all breathe in all of the time. There is nothing you can't hide. Even if you kept yourself hermetically sealed somewhere, you are not going to be out of the reaches of aspergillus. Aspergillus loves damaged lungs. It does.
Okay.
What has been slightly unusual with yourself is that this kind of infection, although it can happen in people whose immune systems work properly, we more commonly see it in people's immune systems who don't work.
Which is why I
Which
came
is why
up
we
with the
went through the whole
COVID question.
HIV
That's why I came up with the COVID
Yeah, and
question.
COVID, and if anything, COVID tends to lead to a hyper response in the immune system. That's part of the reason why people get very damaged. I have not seen or heard of
Okay, we'll dismiss that.
co-infection. Whilst it's not beyond the realms of possibility, I have not seen or heard of co-infection of COVID and fungal pneumonia together.
Okay,
You get a lot of bacterial pneumonias after COVID,
right, okay.
but a fungal pneumonia is an odd one. I'm not saying it's beyond the realms of possibility. It's certainly a very
Can I ask
reasonable
your
question.
expert opinion then?
Mhm.
Would you suggest that it would be a complete waste of money for me to go and get a private, you can order it on the internet, COVID, have I ever seen it test? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Do you mean a COVID antibody test?
Yes. Ultimately, we're all going to get a jab. So I
Yeah.
have to make a decision about whether or not I go for, is there any possibility that this test would come back positive before I get a jab? Is
There
would
was
I
a
be
possi-
wasting my
there
money?
was a possibility. There was a possibility you may have had asymptomatic COVID infection. Would it make any difference to what happens from now on?
I am where I am.
No.
Yes.
It's not going to make any difference at all. There is absolutely zero blame attached to having an aspergillus infection. This is just something which has happened.
I'm keen to know why though. I'm
No,
keen to
it's
know
always-
why.
Everyone's always keen to know why, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, in the vast majority of times in medicine, we never
You don't.
really know.
Okay.
Apart from the fact, as I say, aspergillus is around us all the time, and we are all exposed to it all the time.
Which was why I asked, am I liable to be bouncing backwards and forwards with this infection over and over and over again?
I hope not, and the whole point of going through this treatment is to try to prevent that from happening.
Right.
Are you going to be more prone to infections in general?
Right. Well, yes.
I'm
Obviously.
expecting your lung is not going to go completely back to normal again under this infection. You're liable to have some scarring in that area. You're liable to have an area of what we call bronchiectasis, where there is scarring in the lining of the airways of the lungs there, which would make you more predisposed to getting an infection in the future, be that any type of infection.
The cavitation that you've spoken about and that I've seen, does that close down as things improve or not?
A bit.
Because that will be
I'm not expecting
leading me open to more infection.
I think you are always going to have a cavitation there. I suspect it's going to get a bit better than it has done, but it's not going to disappear completely.
Okay.
So we're always going to be a little bit more on your guard, making sure you're having your vaccinations, doing what you can, being very aware of signs of infection so treatment can get done early. Doctors being aware that you have had fungal pneumonias in the past, so we should go actively looking for fungus.
Right.
Whereas before we might not fob you off, but we might just give you the normal bacterial antibiotics and say you're probably going to get better. Have a higher level of suspicion to go looking for fungus.
Much of that is down to
yourself.
how I present, then,
And
is
that,
it not?
Indeed.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
it's about how you present, and it's about how me or doctors like me interpret how you're presenting.
Right.
And knowing that you are a gentleman who has had a fungal infection before, therefore we must actively look for fungal infection
I've
in a
said
way
it.
that we don't normally do.
I've said it before. I am hugely grateful that you went the fungal route as quick as you did, because I've read things where people have gone on for ages without doctors going that route, and you guys went there pretty quick. So I'm very grateful for that. I am very grateful.
So there you go. That is your prescription.
Right. That's presumably just the tablets, is it? You were mentioning this
The
breathing.
inhaler's on there as well. Let me just come
Oh, right.
Let me come out and have a quick word with the nurses and just see if we can arrange for someone to show you how to use your inhaler.
Oh, I can.
It's not a puffer. It's a different type of inhaler to that.
Okay. I'm sure it's online.
It is online. Yeah, true.
Thank you very
So
much.
you can always put the name into there.
Right. I'm out with a script. We're heading for the pharmacy. That's going to be a long job, isn't it? I'm still looking like that. Right, we are done with that, and we have 20 minutes to wait. So I shall be, I think, returning to the car for 20 minutes. Yeah, the worst thing that I reckon about this contactless payment business is that it's so easy to do. You don't get a receipt. I mean, I just paid for the prescription. I'm having a puffer and the tablets, so that was 2 lots of prescription fee. So what was that, about £19? Around about £19, but of course I got no receipt. I got no proof that I've spent that. And it would be the same when I do the parking. When I pay for the parking, woof woof, and then there's no receipt or anything. So keeping track of your expenditure these days is very difficult. I find very difficult. Yeah, we're back here. £18.30 it was actually. I got that wrong. £18.30 she just told me. How's that possible? £9.15. Yeah, £18.30. Anyway, we're done. We're out of here. Not forgetting the parking, of course. The machine that I usually use was in bits up there. So we shall do it here. Please insert ticket. I have inserted the ticket. £3.50 on this occasion. Read card, it says. Red card. Yeah. Is that working or not? No, it's saying read card. Remove card. Payment till £3. Flipping hopeless, isn't it? Approved. There we go. We're out of here. Actually, climb over the barrier. Back to the car. Okay, I'm back at the car. That didn't go so badly, did it? There's my ticket, there's my mask, prescription. We are going to be on the road. I am in danger of taking the liberty, thank you Nigel, of stopping at Sainsbury's for alcohol. I shall decide when we are nearer to Sainsbury's. The funny thing about the parking at the hospital was I did not need to insert the ticket to get out. So I probably could have done that without paying, if I'd known. Anyway, we are taking the liberty, we are at Sainsbury's. I shall be getting masked up to go shopping. Okay, what time is it? I was as quick as I could be. I got a bit carried away, but I got wine. That was the main purpose. And not the wine I'm used to, so that's a gamble. Who cares? We're on our way home. Yeah, I'm home. It's that time, and look at the temperature. Look how warm that is. That's why it was so flipping hot in the hospital. Anyway, I am home. I am home with shopping. That's only part of it. Oh dear. Oh, breath just flowing up here. Hello, Bear. Hello, you. Are you alright, Bear? I took the liberty, I stopped at the shop. I hope you don't mind. I have shopping. Go on in, you monster.
He's been very calm.
Good boy.
But his right paw's hurting.
He's what?
His right paw.
What? What have you done? What have you done?
You know, I'm trying having a feel around it, see if he's got a thorn in there or anything.
Oh shit.
I mean, he's okay. He was lying on the sofa for ages, and when he got up, he was like a bit limpy.
Yeah, he's holding it up now, isn't he?
Yeah.
What's going on there, for Christ's sake?
Doesn't seem to be anything terrible. I mean, you know, they strain the tail.
What have you done? What have you done?
I mean, I was looking to see if there was a thorn or something in there, but I couldn't find anything.
No, he's not complaining, is he?
Yeah.
As I do that.
It's not.
Poor old Worth.
Don't hit the panic button yet.
Yeah.
But when he didn't. This is the first time he hasn't been going up at the window. He was like.
It's just because he's got a damaged leg.
But then he was lying on the sofa.
He is limping, isn't
Yeah.
he? Oh, Christ.